countries. On foreign soil in September, this is what the Mizoram Chief Minister said. He went on to say that we have been unjustly divided, forced to exist under 3 different governments in 3 different countries, and this is something we can never accept. Mizoram Chief Minister's speech in US in September that went viral on social media has sparked fresh controversy. He is openly calling for the unity of the Zo, Chin-Kuki and Mizo communities spread across Bharat, Myanmar and Bangladesh based on ethnic and religious lines. The development comes amid ethnic tension between the Meitei and Kuki communities in neighboring Manipur, the Chin fighting there in Myanmar against the military junta, and Mizoram Chief Minister Lalduhoma calling upon the Zo people to unite based on religion and prevent further division. Now, his statement, which says we cannot tolerate living and being separated by 3 countries, points in the direction of what Sheikh Hasina had warned before her ouster. She had said that there are conspiracies on and there is a bid to carve out a new country out of Bangladesh, which has portions of Bangladesh, that is Chittagong, and like East Timor, carve it out of the country's neighborhood. If you look at the Kuki claims and their propaganda of Kuki land, it also talks about Mizoram, Manipur, Chin area in Myanmar and also Chattogram and this region in Bangladesh. Now, she had said it's a West plot. The white man came and said that this is what they will do, carve out a separate country, taking parts of Chattogram and Myanmar and also Bharat along with a base in the Bay of Bengal, for a base in Bay of Bengal. The questions that come out, is the Mizoram Chief Minister's speech on foreign soil clear proof of the West plot to divide Bharat? And does the Mizoram Chief Minister's separate nationhood, cannot afford to be living in 3 countries, will not tolerate this? Is it a clear proof of what Sheikh Hasina had warned? Professor Brahma Chalani and Dr. Ankita Datta with us. Let's just play out a portion of that video that's now surfaced.
It's just like a two-way traffic. As far as we are concerned, we shall never ever accept the division of our people into 3 countries. This will never be acceptable. And the boundaries are imposed boundaries by the British government. In that committee, we are never represented. We are never consulted. Therefore, it is an imposed boundary. We'll never accept it. We'll never accept construction of boundary fencing in between us.
Well, before we go back to Lalduhoma and what happened in Mizoram, PM Modi has just tweeted and he has said, I strongly condemn the deliberate attack on a Hindu temple in Canada. Equally appalling are the cowardly attempts to intimidate our diplomats. Such acts of violence will never weaken India's resolve. We expect the Canadian government to ensure justice and uphold the rule of law. So PM Modi has just tweeted, this is what I am putting out here. Okay, let me just hold it properly. There you go. This is what he said. He says, I strongly condemn the deliberate attack on the Hindu temple in Canada. Equally appalling are the cowardly attempts to intimidate our diplomats. Such acts of violence will never weaken India's resolve. We expect the Canadian government to ensure justice and uphold the rule of law. Let's just come out of that, please. And go across to Professor Brahma Chalani and Dr. Ankita Datta. So 2 big incidents that have happened. Professor Brahma Chalani on Canada and also Mizoram, sir.
First on Canada.
Ji.
Trudeau has personally led the charge against India since September last year, when he stood up in Parliament and made an allegation, which he now admits was based not on hard evidence, but on raw intelligence. But Modi, by contrast, has been quiet. He has not spoken up. So finally, he has broken his silence and spoken up because, after all, what we are seeing is that the US and Canada are constantly pushing India, and India is thus being forced to react. So I'm glad that Prime Minister Modi has spoken up. On the other issue of Mizoram, Anand, I think that's a very concerning issue because what the Chief Minister is saying is that the Chin-Kuki-Zo people, he said, are one people and one nation that today have to live under 3 separate governments, and that eventually they'll be unified under one government. So by echoing what Sheikh Hasina had said before she was toppled, he has given credence to the notion that some elements in the West are seeking to carve out a Christian state out of Myanmar, India, and Bangladesh. So certainly his statement, that statement of an Indian state chief minister on American soil, that statement should be treated with serious concern by the Indian Home Ministry and the Indian government more largely.
True. Dr. Ankita Datta, reaction on Canada and then thereafter on Lalduhoma, please.
Yeah, so Lalduhoma, this is definitely a matter of serious concern. The chief minister of a state delivering an official speech in America, expressing his desire to create a separate Christian country, including parts of Bharat like Manipur, Assam, and Tripura, as well as Bangladesh and Myanmar, is a serious concern for India's national security. And now, if we recall, this same chief minister, Lalduhoma, soon after he assumed charge last year, after the elections, after the Mizoram Assembly elections, he had said on record to External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in their very first meeting in New Delhi, just a day after the Indian government decided to scrap the Free Movement Regime, or FMR. He said that he categorically mentioned that any move by the government of India to fence the present international border with Myanmar is unacceptable to the Mizos. He also emphasized that putting an end to this FMR without approving the border created by the British that divided the ethnic Mizos and their fellow tribes is unacceptable. And immediately thereafter, the Chin-Kukis had stepped up their demand for the unification of the Zopate. Zopate is the Kuki-Chin-Mizo language-speaking tribe living in India and Myanmar for the creation of a separate administration. And see, as long as such positions are maintained at an official level, like that of the chief minister of a state, peace is a distant dream for the Northeast. And we need to understand this in the context of the demographic upheaval in Manipur as a result of the abnormal...
We'll take this up in detail on Tuesday, but quickly a word on the Prime Minister also stepping up to condemn the attacks in Canada, Dr. Ankita Datta. Do you believe this is perhaps timely, and the call is now that Indo-Canadians want to unite against this kind of extremism?
Yes, definitely, certainly, and the comments by the Chief Minister of Mizoram, they come simultaneously. So, from the perspective of India's national security, peace and stability, which is not possible in any state, in any country, when one community is always unwilling to respect the national boundaries and is always insistent upon killing people from any other community outside of their ethnicity, destroying their religious places of worship, and also at the same time, sheltering refugees from their kith and kin without the state's consent. So,
True, and an interesting perspective which we'll take forward. I've run out of time because we've got plenty of news coming through. The fact is that from our western borders, they are attempting to sabotage and create secessionist agendas. And even in the northeast, it's a similar agenda that is being created, all on religious lines, by trying to figure out fault lines and create fault lines there between religions and faiths and communities. And that's a serious threat that we need to look from a holistic perspective. We'll have a longer, larger discussion on this, but have to wind up for the moment. Thank you.